Hey everybody, it's another episode of From Bot to Heart. Today we're going to be talking about change and how I want change, but I'm also scared of it while also working out legs because I need bigger legs as well. That's one of the changes I want to make. Anyway, let's do it. Two more. Whew. Oh man. That's officially known as the Quad Destroyer. Oh man, that was so good. It's crazy how good that was. I'm an autistic person, right? I'm an autistic person, and the legend goes, we don't like change, which I have mixed feelings about that statement. I don't like change when I don't like change when it is sudden and enforced. Just like your plane being delayed, your train being put out of service. That's hard, right? That's hard and that's sudden and you have no control over it. Like there's nothing you can do. That's hard. That's hard. But that's hard for anybody, right? That's hard for anybody. Okay, I think it was 12. I think it was 12 reps. I got to be honest with you. I think how I feel about change is pretty normal. It's pretty normal, right? Like, people don't like their flights being delayed. I think anybody would find that, like, no bueno, right? I'm scared of showing my emotional response to change because of the way it's been dealt with as a medical trait previously. I'm a normal human being and nobody likes change. But those changes are all time and place changes, right? They're not so much emotional changes. So when it comes to emotional changes, like how people feel about particular things or how people want to engage with a particular subject matter because how they feel, I have so much time to hear and understand where those people are coming from and to engage with whatever boundary setting they want. But if there's no allowance for my boundary setting, how am I supposed to engage with it? How am I supposed to do it? How am I supposed to be myself, my authentic self, if I can only listen and hear the changes that other people are going through and dealing with without any allowance for the challenges of change that I'm dealing with and the way I feel about things and the boundary setting I need to have? Because let me tell you, it's been hard out here being like boxed in to certain situations to be like, well, this is the way it's going to be. And me being like, I'm not comfortable with that. And the response is, that's just part of your autism. And that is where they take the word no away from you. So when change happens and you're like, I'm not comfortable with this, I think I'm going to go, I think I'm going to leave. And the response is, you can't leave, you have to stay still, you have to remain. Then anyone can change anything at any time. And I'm essentially trapped. Like I am boxed in. I cannot go anywhere. And that once again takes away my authority, takes away my decision making, takes away my ability to state how I feel. But also more importantly, it takes away my advocacy because I am seen as an autistic individual in these particular situations as not being able to advocate for myself. One more. Yeah. I get this change. I understand this change. It's hard for me to deal with. Like, time and place change. Nothing really I can do about that. Not too much. So I'm like, okay, cool. This is change. Fine. But if it's emotional change and I'm able to engage with it and to empathize with it, to acknowledge it, and then have my own boundaries around it, fantastic. No issues. Everything's good. But if there is emotional change and the response to me is, this is how, like, the response to me having, like, essentially a bit like, oh, okay, I didn't realize this change was a thing. I now need to create boundaries around it. And the response is, you can't have boundaries. The only boundaries that I set are around the change. We're changing this because this is how we feel about it. So now you just need to sit down and do your thing. That would be hard for anybody. And I need to be able to go, sorry, gang, this isn't for me then. I gotta go. I gotta leave. I can't do this. I don't feel comfortable with this. And the response to that is, well, we need to box you in. So you have to do the thing. You have to do what we say. Then I really need to go. Like, I need to get out of here, because the response to me and my boundary setting isn't based off emotional understanding. It's based off of, like, honest to goodness stereotypes of, well, autistic people don't like change, so we just need to deal with this in a enforced manner so that this person cannot have any decision making whatsoever because they're a vulnerable individual and they aren't able to advocate for themselves. So we need to advocate for them so that they need to do what we tell all to. I'm like, this isn't working for me. I have such pressure on myself to just abide and just go with the change. What are you going to do, right? Zen, like, hey, change is happening. Is it good? Is it bad? What is good? What is bad? Doesn't matter. Ugh. No, I think some change, I'm like, please stop. I need to change something now for myself to be able to have boundaries. And if the response is, we can only change things, you can't change things, you're not allowed to change things, that is a toxic situation. And it's horrible. And it's all because of stereotypes and an inability to acknowledge and accept a autistic person's need to boundary set. And if I'm dealing with those stereotypes and dealing with those ableist individuals, I gotta go. Oh. Okay. So we're on the leg extension now. Going to just really decimate the quads. But full disclosure, I have a hard time with change when it doesn't allow me to adapt to the change the way I want to, or the way that I feel like I need to for my own self-advocacy. Because if the response to that is, you can't do that, you can't change, you cannot change the way that you want to, you need to change in the way that we dictate, then I'm like, where do I go from here? What do I do? Oh, I'm trapped. I'm trapped now. I'm trapped in a situation because you didn't give me any options, because you don't want me to have options. You just want me to abide. So that was 15 at 39 kg. I feel pretty good about that. So instead of reflecting on the past and going, okay, cool, I wasn't allowed to change that, I wasn't allowed to adapt, I was only told I needed to function in a particular way and not move, I need to start talking about what I want to do. I need to start talking about how I want to be in the world and how to break expectations, because that is an expectation I want to break. The expectation of Tom's not going to be good with change and we need to corner him like a wild animal so that he will know he has to live in our zoo. No. Okay. So here's what we do now. From now on, boundary setting. Boundary setting is the way to go about it. Like, if you were, say you were at a job, right? Say you were working a job. You were a salesperson for a company, and you come in one day and they go, hey, there's this change. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. What's the change? And they're like, you're the janitor now. And you're like, but I don't feel comfortable being the janitor. I'm a salesperson. And they're like, listen, either you're the janitor or you're nothing. Like, so what are you going to do? And the response is, okay, I guess I'm going to leave. I'm not going to be the janitor. And then the response to that is, but how are we going to deal with all these dirty floors? How dare you leave us with all these dirty floors? It's like, what are you talking about? I never agreed to be the janitor. Like, what are you saying to me right now? I'm not a janitor. I'm not that thing. I am a salesperson. I am this thing. So if I can't be that thing, I need to leave. And they're like, here's a broom, here's a mop. Like, go do your work now. Like, no. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about being cornered into being something that I'm not. And it's like, cool. So now we need a boundary set and go like, I'm a salesperson. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna leave this situation. Good luck, everybody else. Because I cannot trap myself in a situation. I can't allow myself to be trapped in a situation that I cannot control, that I cannot have some sort of self-advocacy involved with it. Because that's happened too many times in my life and I cannot allow it to happen again. It's that simple. Oh man. Whew. Okay. I think that was 11, but I've decimated my quads so much today. Like, it's crazy. Oh, so moving forward. How do I want to be? What do I want to do? I want to advocate for myself, trust myself to advocate for myself, acknowledge that change exists, change happens, and I can adapt to change and I can accept change, from it being a cancelled train journey to an emotional change, like how somebody feels about you and the nature of relationship, to even how my employment works and my own personal responsibilities for myself and other individuals. And if I cannot boundary set around things and go, I can accept this change and I can acknowledge this change, here's my boundary setting. I'm going to react in this way and engage in this way. Like, my train journey has been cancelled. I'm no longer going to travel today, rather than I'm going to take 5 buses. That sounds exhausting. I'm just not going to travel today. That's it. There's no way of getting there that I can foresee that doesn't require me using all of my energy to get to the location. So instead of that, I'm just going to not do it. Like that. There it is. And emotional change, a relationship change, I can accept that, I can acknowledge that. I just need to be able to also say, like, personal boundaries, like, if I'm not comfortable with this relationship in this way, so I feel like I need to have my own boundaries around it. If other boundaries are being set, I need to set my own boundaries. And then finally, my own personal responsibilities and what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, working with other people. If that doesn't feel comfortable for me, and I'm being trapped and being forced into a situation that I do not want to be in, I need to leave it as quickly as possible. Okay? I cannot just keep going. I cannot be like, the show must go on. Like, I cannot do that anymore. It has cost me too much. I'm fine with change. I'm an autistic person and I am saying I'm fine with change. That's me breaking that expectation. The only other expectation I need to break is I have responsibility for my own choices and my own advocacy. If the world responds to that with, you know, no bueno-ness, like they're like, how dare you have your own self-advocacy? You don't understand. It's like, these people aren't for me, man. These people aren't for me. All right, I gotta do a final set. Let's do it. Oh man, 10. Oh, that was so good. Okay. Whew. We're doing good. We can accept change. We can acknowledge change. We can adapt to change. We just have to be allowed to advocate And if that can not be allowed, the best advocacy we can have is by leaving. Okay, good job. Change is hard. Change is tricky for anyone in the world. Autistic individual, there is a stereotype that we cannot handle change, and that is difficult and it's just impossible. I disagree. And I think it's okay to acknowledge that change, hey, it's tricky, but we can still engage with it and we can still understand it. The problem I really have, the problem I'm like, that's no bueno, is when change is forced upon me. And there is no way for me to have a conversation about it or talk about it in a productive manner that isn't taking away decisions from me and taking away my ability to go, this is what I want, this is how I want it, this is where we're going. And the response to that is, you cannot make choices that I'm like, I gotta stop. We gotta stop. Best advocacy I can have in myself is by leaving. That's it. Just by going, I gotta go. This isn't good for me. I gotta go. And that's it. I need to feel comfortable with that. I need to feel comfortable with that idea. Rather being like, I can make it work. Diddle diddle door. Like, nah, man. It's okay to be like, change hurts. Change is challenging. Change hurts everybody. Challenges everybody. I feel challenged by it in particular ways. But if I'm subjugated into the idea of with Tom, change is impossible. So we need to just force him into it so that he has to just be okay with it. That isn't for me. That takes away all of my ability to say what I want, especially to say what I don't want and how I want to leave. There it is. Okay. That was so important for me to say. Like, that was actually crazily important for me to say for myself. I feel really good for saying that for myself. Okay, this is great. All right, we're going to call it. I'm going to do some stretching now and get rid of definitely the DOMs that I will be dealing with tomorrow as much as possible, but there will still be some left. All right. Thank you very much all for your time. YouTube is interesting. If you've watched all the way through and you want to subscribe, great. If you don't worry about it because I'm still figuring it out. It's all fantastic. All right. Peace out.